What's up guys, Magic Knives here, and today I'm bringing to you a review on the LCT AKMS. This is a new AK that I picked up recently in replacement of my old SEMA AKMS. I was running with that gun once in a while for a few years, but fortunately I started running into some reliability issues and tech issues that just couldn't really be solved because it would just keep breaking down on me. So I just decided, screw it, I'm gonna invest in a new higher end AKMS. And I still wanted to go with the old school AK look because I just think this gun tells so much history with the old school AK look itself. So I wanted something to kind of to represent that in a way. So the thing about LCT, which is great, is that they use a lot of steel parts. So everything you see, underfolder, dust cover, lower receiver, trigger, safety selector, hunting slide, rear sight, front sight, sling attachments, barrel, gas block, and flash hider, all steel. That's what makes this gun about 8 pounds, which is a good hefty weight. Makes it feel like you're holding the real thing. And the stuff that is not metal, obviously, are the handguard and the pistol grip. And I will say that with the wood handguard, it looks much nicer than the SEMA in my opinion, because it has a much nice, smoother and shinier finish, and the tone of the wood is much darker. And what I also find is that the sort of part where the wood grip bulges out here, it feels actually a little bit more comfortable to hold when you're actually aiming down sights. You feel like you have a much more sturdier grip and grasp to it, so you can control your aim much better, which is nice. So that's nice. The pistol grip is, I think, a little bit skinnier than the SEMA version, but otherwise you get used to it after a while. It's still pretty nice solid grip. When you get the gun, it does come with a 130 round mid-cap magazine, I believe. It feels a little bit more heavier than the SEMA magazines that I got, which hold 140 rounds. Since I already have 4 mid-cap magazines from SEMA, I'm just going to use these, and they do fit okay in this. They fit no problem, no real wobble or anything, and it does feed pretty fine as well. So if anything, if you have SEMA magazines, because LCT mid-caps are pretty hard to find, you can use SEMA mid-cap AK magazines, no problem. So the battery is housed in under the dust cover, so you'll just have to press the button at the back, take this off, and you'll fit a battery right down the gas tube. When it comes to batteries, you'll be limited to just stick type batteries that'll just fit down the gas tube. I use LiPo, so I don't really have much problems with that. But trying to put the dust cover back on can be a bit of a challenge, because you really have to get it just about right and lined up. One thing to describe this gun is that it is very stiff at the beginning. So the selector is very stiff, and the underfolder is very stiff. I'll start with the underfolder. Is that, much with any AKMS underfolder, you have the button right here. You're gonna push this in, push down, extend the shoulder rest out. Now this was really stiff at the beginning. Once you push that all the way back up, you can carry it like this for storage or compact shooting. And then just reverse that, press the button again, push this down a little bit, swing this back out, and you can lock this into place and push the shoulder rest back down. So when you first get this, it's going to be really stiff. So what I did is I put some WD-40 into little spaces in the little hinges for both here and the back here, and I worked the WD-40 in just by moving it back and forth, and now it's a little bit less stiff now. So if anything, if you want to fix the stiffness issues, use some WD-40 on those parts, so you won't have as much issues. Now The safety is also very stiff. When you first got this, it was really stiff. I actually had to take out the screw that holds the safety in to loosen it, and then screw this back in. So at least now it's a little bit easier to manipulate. One thing is that right at the edge here is where it's the most troublesome, because the little nub underneath the safety, it catches the edge that's up here. So when you're actually pushing this down, you want to be careful to not push into the gun, and you want to push down to avoid, like, so if you're trying to manipulate this with your middle finger when you're in a shooting grip, it's gonna, if you push into the gun, it's gonna be impossible to push the safety down. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to work the safety in a little bit, kind of smooth this portion out so it's not as impossible to push the safety down with your middle finger or first finger. So bear that in mind. You will have to work this safety in, particularly this edge. Hopefully smooth it out and grind it out so it'll be not, it won't feel like you're trying to push a pickup truck with your middle finger. So do bear that in mind. There's a lot of stiffness in this gun that you'll have to work in, so to speak. To adjust the hop up, as much with any AK, you're going to pull back here, and you're gonna adjust the hop up, which is right in there. You'll notice there is a rod here that kind of makes it difficult to stick your finger in and adjust the hop up, but as long as you have skinny enough fingers, you can still access it pretty easily. But I guess the rod's there just to simply make the charging handle a little bit more smooth and won't move around as easily. But you can adjust your hop up in there. Pulling the hop up back increases the hop, and pushing it forward decreases hop. And when you work the cocking slide, it makes a pretty nice sound, so you can be thankful for that. Out of the box, this gun was shooting at around 400 feet per second, so be good for outdoors. But if you're playing indoors, my field has a 380 feet per second, so I will have to downgrade this once I have the opportunity to do so. We're in COVID situation still right now, as it is with lockdown, so it's not really the best option to go to the store and do that. I will say for the front sight tip, for the front sight post, it's really wobbly. I actually always would increase the height of the front sight post just so it's aligned with the top two notches on the side, so it's parallel. But that's what makes it really wobbly, and the reason I increase it is just because of the nature of the hop up. The BBs will go higher than what the factory setting front sight is. So I actually raise this up so it matches with the flight of the BBs better when it's going straight, and then goes up a little bit. So what I did is I took the front sight post out. I put a little bit of super glue on the bottom of the screw itself, and then I just started to screw this back in. And now with a little bit of the super glue, the front side post is much more sturdy now. It's not going to wobble at all. I can still screw it out if ever I need to, because I have a little tool for a front side post that came with the SEMA AK that allowed you to do that. But I think you can get these for pretty cheap. But either way, you can just hand tighten it as well. That's fine as well. You don't need a tool necessarily. So that's that. The hop up out of the box is pretty good. Range is pretty good. The accuracy is pretty good. When you're shooting this on fully automatic, it runs pretty smoothly. Shooting on semi is pretty smooth, but I will say the trigger response is not the best. If you're like me and you really like to feather that trigger and you want to get a lot of quick shots out of the box, the trigger response is really bad. You literally have to pull the trigger all the way back just to get the shot off. So hopefully when COVID dies down, I can look into making some upgrades. I'm gonna add a MOSFET to this to hopefully improve the trigger response and make it so it's not as far back, hopefully. And probably I'll still add a flat hop to this just to maybe increase the range a little bit more. I will have to downgrade the spring, unfortunately, just because of FPS limits. But yeah, those are the 3 upgrades that I would have to do for this. Personally, I feel that when you get an AEG, the number two upgrades I suggest are MOSFET and flat hop. Those are the first 2 upgrades that I do. If you don't count changing the spring out, because if you're in Canada, you're mostly gonna get guns that are shooting 400 feet per second or more, just because of the laws here. So, but aside from that, MOSFET and flat hop are my go-to upgrades. I will try to get a rail dust cover. I used to have one, but I don't have anymore. So I'm gonna get a rail dust cover for this. LCT actually makes one for their AKs, so you can add I'm gonna add my my red dot that I used to use on my seam mount onto this, and I also gonna use my flashlight and laser combo with the rail clamps that you can put on the barrel as well, and the gas block. You can actually, from what I can tell, is you can remove this just from the latch here. You open that up. You can probably get a railed. You can probably get LCT probably makes a railed gas block as well, so you can add rails on the top here if you wish. But I personally like to have my rails back here for my red dot sight. So out of the box, this gun shoots really well. The accuracy, the range, performance-wise. The biggest downside though is, yes, it's very stiff off the bat, so you will have to spend some time to wear the parts in, either with WD-40 on the stock itself, and as well as the safety selector. You will have to loosen the selector a little bit, and then just kind of wear it in so that it's not as stiff to try and take it off safe. And then I would say, if you want a better trigger response, you're gonna have to look into installing MOSFET on this gun. Hopefully, when I do so, the rate of fire will be much better, and I'll feel better about shooting this on semi-auto whenever we get to play again. Sometime in 2021. Hopefully we will. So with that said, guys, hope you enjoyed this review. If you have any questions about this, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and hope to see you guys in my future videos. Until next time, peace out.